Hello everyone and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Hemant and I'm here again to discuss with you about the current affairs of today, and today we will discuss some of the most important issues that are going on around the world and around our country, and I will discuss with you some of the most important things that will be very helpful for your examination preparation. So if in case you are preparing for the upcoming defense examinations like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET, Territorial Army, Indian Air Force, Airmen, Group X, Group Y, CAPF, Assistant Commander's examination, also for the Military Nursing Service or the Army Cadet College, please download the SSB Crack Exams learning app from Google Play Store. Also, you can go through our website learn.ssbcrackexams.com, and even you can go through the complete detailed lecture content, study material, sample practice questions, quizzes, exercises, mock tests that are all made taking into consideration the latest exam patterns. So make sure that you follow the complete details and you even follow us on all sort of social media platforms to keep yourself updated with the most important Indian and international inputs. Beginning with the question of the day that I have asked 2 days back on 23rd of December 2020. And the question that I asked is this particular one: what is the theme of the India International Science Festival 2020? I repeat the question: what is the theme of the India International Science Festival 2020? And most of you people have given a correct answer, and I appreciate each and every aspirant who's answering it very actively in the comment section. It's a very good job. Please continue with that. So the correct answer for this particular one is Science for Self-Reliant India and Global Welfare. I repeat, Science for Self-Reliant India and Global Welfare. So this India International Science Festival 2020, this is actually the 6th IISF 2020. So this is being organized by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences and Vijnana Bharati, and these has been conducted from 22nd to 25th of December 2020. So today is the last day of this particular science festival. So since 4 days this is being conducted from 22nd to 25th, and it is conducted by whom, sir? It is conducted by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences and Vijnana Bharati, which is an institute. So all of these important people, important organizations have come together to conduct this particular International Science Festival, and this has been conducted at Delhi through virtual mode, sir. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic is going on, this is being conducted through virtual mode, and it is being hosted by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and also with the National Institute of Science and Technology and Developmental Studies, NISTADS, from New Delhi. IISF provides a platform for the young scientists and students and technocrats to exchange the knowledge and the ideas. Okay, that's it regarding this particular important question of the day. Now, beginning off with the first and foremost important information is regarding that the Sokar wetland complex, which is there in Ladakh, this has been declared as a wetland of international importance. That means what? It is now declared as a Ramsar site, sir. Okay, so this is the 42nd Ramsar site to be declared in our country, and it is the second one in the Union Territory of Ladakh. And the Sokar basin is a high altitude wetland complex, and this consists of two important water bodies, and the first one is Statsibuk So, and the next one is Sokar itself. Statsibuk So is actually a freshwater lake. It is about 438 hectares in the south, and in the north side there is around hypersaline lake of 1800 hectares. And this particular lake is the Sokar Lake, and it is situated in the Changtang region of Ladakh in our country. Okay, so this is a very important update, and this has been declared as a Ramsar site according to the Ramsar Convention. And Ladakh Sokar wetland complex is considered to be the second wetland complex to be declared as a Ramsar site in the Union Territory of Ladakh, and this is a very important one to remember. Okay, going through now with the next important update is regarding that the Union Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment, who is he, sir? He is Shri Thawar Chand Gehlot. He has launched a mobile application known as Swachhata Abhiyan. Okay, so the main aim of this particular Swachhata Abhiyan mobile app is to provide dignity of life. Very simply, we have to say that this has been developed to identify and geotag the data of the insanitary latrines. Okay, so using this particular application, they aim to remove all the insanitary latrines and upgrade them, and they have to completely remove the manual scavengers and convert them towards the sanitary latrines and rehabilitable to all the manual scavengers. Okay, so this is considering improving the dignity of life of the citizens of our country and in making our country much more better in understanding. And we have to understand that this has been actually launched by the Union Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, who is Shri Thawar Chand Gehlot. Okay, going through now with the next important update is regarding that TriFed has signed an MOU with MOFPI for the upliftment of tribal lives through implementing PMFME scheme The full form of TriFed is Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. Remember, Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. This has signed a memorandum of understanding with what, sir? With the Ministry of Food Processing Industries. Okay, so TriFed has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, and this is regarding what? It is regarding the implementation of the PMFME scheme. The full form of this particular one is Prime Minister Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme. Okay, so it is the formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme. So using this particular scheme, they are going to give special benefits to the micro food processing enterprises and making our country much more self-reliant. And this is actually a landmark initiative under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Okay, so this is signed between what? It is between the TriFed or the Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India and the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. Okay, going through in detail regarding this particular one, that the PMFME scheme, it actually supports the micro level food entrepreneurs, the food processing organizations, self-help groups and cooperatives, and an important component of this particular scheme is the tribal sub-plan. Okay, so a communique to define the convergence mechanism in the implementation of this particular scheme was signed by both TriFed and MOFPI, and it has been decided that the ministry under the PMFME scheme, it will also provide necessary funds to TriFed to undertake training, capacity building of all the tribals that are engaged in the food processing. In another way that we have to consider that each and every particular tribal communities, let them be a part of the FPOs or the food processing organizations, or let them be a part of the self-help groups, or let them be a part of any sort of cooperative. All of them will be taken into consideration regarding this particular PMFME scheme. And regarding this particular one, the ministry will also provide the necessary funds to the TriFed to completely engage and make all of these developments in much more proper way, and this will ensure that our country is much more proper and moving, converging towards the self-reliant India, or moving towards one single Atmanirbhar Bharat. Going through with the next most important update is regarding that the Union Minister of Road Transport, Highways and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Nitin Gadkari ji, has announced that it is mandatory for all the four-wheelers to have the FASTag from 1st of January 2021. Okay, so FASTags were actually launched in 2016 and 4 banks have issued nearly a lakh of them until now. By 2017, the numbers went up to 7 lakh, and over 34 lakh FASTags were issued in 2018 and much more in 2019. Okay, so regarding this particular new updates regarding which has been given up by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways by Nitin Gadkari ji, we have to understand that as per the Central Motor Vehicles Rules 1989, since 1st of December, FASTag has been made mandatory for all registration of new four-wheeler vehicles. Okay, so for the new four-wheeler vehicles, it was considered that FASTag to be mandatory since 1st of December, and all of these that are also being supplied by the vehicle manufacturers or the dealers. And it has also said that it has also been mandated that a valid FASTag is mandatory while getting a new third-party insurance through an amendment in Form 51 of the Certificate of Insurance, wherein the details of this FASTag ID shall be captured, and this shall be applicable from 1st of April 2021. What is the advantage of this particular FASTag, sir? The main advantage of having this particular FASTag is that it will enhance the seamless connectivity of all the roads of our country, and it will avoid the complete sort of bribery or any sort of miscommunication or mismanagement of the funds or extra payment of the money at the toll plazas. And by making the much more interactive, it will also ensure that each and every particular transport of our country, even the highway transport, it will become much more electronic, and having the FASTag will make the customer or the consumer much more effective, and he will not have to stop at each and every particular FASTag, and he will happily go through with that particular one. And the system will be made much more electronic and much more safe and secure regarding this particular one. Okay, so the complete updates regarding this particular one and what is actually a FASTag and the details regarding that, we will try to cover it soon in a very separate session in the coming of future. So please wait for the upcoming sessions, and for the other important updates also, please do maintain that, always follow us and always stay tuned with us. Okay, now going on with the next most important update is regarding that on 24th of December, that means yesterday, India has celebrated the National Consumer Rights Day. Okay, so why are we celebrating this particular one? We can even say that this is National Consumers Day or National Consumer Rights Day. It is actually observed to highlight the importance of the consumer movement as well as the need to make them aware and informed of their rights and responsibilities. That is why India has launched long back a campaign by a very important slogan known as Jago Grahak Jago. Understanding the main reason behind this particular one, if you translate this to English, it is said that always be awake, dear consumer. Okay, so in 1986, Consumer Protection Act has come into force, and regarding that, many lot of issues have been taken into consideration, but this Consumer Protection Act has again been reenacted, and in 2019, Consumer Protection Act has also come. A new consumer protection laws came into existence, and there are some differences between both of them. So before me getting into that, let me tell you that the theme of the National Consumer Rights Day 2020 is what? The new features of the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Okay, this is the theme of the Consumer Rights Day of 2020. Okay, what is it? It is the new features of the Consumer Protection Act 2019. First, let us understand about the Consumer Protection Act 1986. Generally, what does it say? That according to Consumer Protection Act 1986, it will provide customers and consumers with effective safeguards against various types of exploitation. Okay, so there might be some sort of defective goods or unsatisfactory services. They will show something on the screen and we will get some other thing. So there will be some sort of they will mislead the people, and in case of they will tell lies or any other things. So all sort of issues will be taken into as a very serious crime under the law, and all of them are taken into consideration. So there are some effective safeguards that are provided according to this particular act to each and every particular consumer, and this will provide that each and every particular consumer of our country will probably have proper safer trade practices, and we'll get into that. And also we have to understand that this act is considered to be the Magna Carta in the field of consumer protection to keep a check on the unfair trade practices. Understanding this will keep a check on the unfair trade practices, and it is also empowering the consumers to a large extent. But there has been a change, and again Consumer Protection Act 2019 came into existence. We have to understand why this new Consumer Protection Act has been taken into consideration. Regarding that, if you go through this regulator regarding the Consumer Protection Act 1986, there was no separate regulator. But in Consumer Protection Act 2019, in CPA 2019, there is a Central Consumer Protection Authority. This is going to be formed. Okay, so the Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA, is going to be formed very soon, and the laws regarding that have already been framed, and the work regarding that has already started. Okay, and next one is known as Consumer Court. Okay, so previously, according to CPA 1986, complaint should be filed in a consumer court where the seller's office is located only. Okay, what does it mean? Wherever I have been exploited, wherever the main buyers of sellers important places there, or wherever he is trying to sell, wherever he has been judicially been accustomed, only to that particular judicial consumer court only I can go and file it. Okay, so if in case I have been exploited in Lucknow, I cannot go and file a complaint in Hyderabad. I have to file a complaint only in Lucknow itself. So this was there in CPA 1986. Later on, what happened was the complaint can be filed in a consumer court where the complainant resides or works, wherever it can be. Okay, and it has been also said that according to the main difference between the consumer court, the main reason is because even if I am working in Hyderabad, my court and my jurisdiction or whatever I am selling the defendant's office, actually the court regarding that might be in Lucknow. So for me, if anybody wants to file a complaint against me, then that particular person has to go all the way up towards Lucknow. But here the case is not like that. According to the CPA 2019, wherever I am working there and then itself, wherever there is a consumer court, I can go and I can happily file my complaint if in case I find out any kind of discrepancy or loss of service or whatever it might be. Then regarding the product liability, there was no provision in the previous act. Consumer could approach a civil court but not a consumer court. But here the consumer can check compensation for a harm caused by a product or a service. Okay, I can even seek the compensation wherever if I got a compensation, I can be asked and I can seek a compensation. Regarding the pecuniary jurisdiction, if it was a district, then it was up to 20 lakhs, and if it was a state, it was up to 20 lakhs to 1 crore, and if it was a national level crime, then it was above 1 crore. But here it has been even all the rates have been increased, and the pecuniary jurisdiction has been increased like a hell lot of things. and regarding the district it is up to 1 crore rupees, the state it is 1 crore to 10 crore, and the national level is above 10 crores. Okay, and regarding e-commerce, that means electronic commerce website were not actually included in the CPA 1986. There was no provision regarding that, but here the e-commerce was also taken into consideration. Okay, so now because since we people are all sitting at home and we are buying lot of goods and or whatever kind of things, and if you want to buy some materials or whatever we want to buy, we are using Amazon, Flipkart, various other online platforms. Even those people who are trying to prepare for the SSB interviews, if you want to prepare for the upcoming SSB interview like that, SSB cracks, how to crack SSB interview, the book is already live, and lot of aspirants, lakhs and lakhs of aspirants are buying our books online. So for you people, if in case there is any particular problem caused by that particular one, there were no laws regarding that, but now the Consumer Protection Act 2019 is providing correct and proper laws. Here the direct selling has been extended towards the e-commerce also, and here in which regarding the e-commerce, the protection has been provided to both the buyer and also towards the consumer. Okay, so regarding the mediation cells, there was no legal provision regarding mediation cells, and here a court can refer settlement through mediation. Okay, these are the main differences between the Consumer Protection Act 1986 and CPA 2019. These are the main reasons, and the theme of the National Consumer Rights Day 2020 is to completely make sure to know about the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Okay, now in a whole nutshell, what are the impactful provisions of this act? Here are some important points, very short form we are giving it off. So establishment of the Central Consumer Protection Authority. This has been established. Introduction of the concept of the product liability and product recall. Then e-commerce platforms brought under the purview of the act. Okay, and as I told you, e-commerce have also came into consideration. Then code of conduct for advertisers, advertising agencies to curb unfair practices and misleading claims. Even this has also been taken into consideration. Simplification of consumer dispute adjudication process, provision of class action suits and mediation. All of these acts have received the President's assent on August of 9, 2019. It was actually notified and becomes applicable from July of 2020, and it has been applicable and it is still being going on into consideration. Okay, so now any particular false claim, or if in case there is any other discrepancy that you found out even through the electronic commerce or even through non-electronic commerce, you can directly approach the consumer court and file your complaint if in case that complaint is regarding that. Okay, going to now our next focus and the final important update. Now we will simply wind up. She is Sugata Kumari. She died at 86. She is actually a very famous Malayalam poet cum conservationist. She was also a very famous personality, and she wrote lot of important poems, and her poems have changed lot of minds, and she was a very beautiful personality. She was actually unfortunately on life support for the past 2 days after testing positive for the COVID-19, and she passed away. So is actually called as Sugata teacher by her admirers. She was actually a daughter to a freedom fighter and writer Bodheshwaran, and her mother was a well-known Sanskrit teacher Kattiyai Namma, and she was actually born in 1934, and her first collection of poems called Muthuchippi was actually published in 1961, and she is very famous, and she has written a lot of novels and a lot of books which are all indicative about how the Malayalam literature is rich, and how the people of the Kerala or various other people who are actually the Malayalis and the most of the other people, and her way of explaining was very nice, and you have to understand that she will always be a very good personality. Okay, so that is it regarding the most important current affairs for today. Now we will have a very quick review by going through some of the most important questions, and the first and foremost question is, Sokar wetland complex is added in the Ramsar sites. It is located at which place? Is it Madhya Pradesh or Haryana or Delhi or Ladakh? The correct answer for this particular one is option D, Ladakh. Okay, going through with the next question is, the mobile application Swachhata Abhiyan was launched by which ministry? It is actually launched by the Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry. Okay, it is launched by the Ministry of the Social Justice and Empowerment. Going through now with the next important question is, on which date India observed the National Consumer Rights Day? It is on the 24th of December. India observes the National Consumer Rights Day. Going through with the next question is, Malayalam poet Sugata Kumari has passed away. She is what? Is she option A, women rights activist or social activist or environmental change activist or political activist? She was actually a women rights activist. Okay. Going through with the next question is, which state government has announced the slew of welfare schemes? The correct answer for this particular one is Kerala. Going to now, we will have the question of the day, and the question of the day for today is, who among these has founded the Vishwa Bharati University in Shantiniketan? I repeat, who among these personalities, these famous personalities, has actually founded the Vishwa Bharati University in Shantiniketan, and what is the speciality of this university, and what is the speciality regarding the founder? Okay, and the options that I gave is Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, and option D, all of the above. Okay, so the answer regarding this particular question and the details regarding this I will be giving you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, subscribe to this channel, download the Android app from Google Play Store. Always stay safe, stay healthy, keep smiling, be confident. Jai Hind.